the morning after the day before when I finally stripped all this bike. And things have moved a little bit quicker than I thought they would, to be honest with you. So I took out the shaft drive housing, as it were, and I dropped that off at Fred at Boxerworks, because he's got an R1200, one that we wanted to compare sizes, and it's about 12 centimeters longer, but the width's about the same, so that is good. And then yesterday I got told by a friend of mine about a place not 3 miles away from here, maybe, yeah, 3 miles I would say, who can do the blasting of this frame. So I've just popped down to see there, and they're going to blast this and blast the tank, but I need to remove the plate with the VIN number, etc. on this bike, so I can reattach it when the frame is finished. As I said before, I'm not chopping anything off yet. My ideas of where I'm going are getting more and more focused, which is awesome, but we will just blast it as it is and then see where we are. So, now to prepare the tank and take that too, so we need to get most of this foil off we can. These 3 bits and some of the bushes, bungs, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, to the car. So I've come to drop the frame off and the tank, and we're going to get to see a brief moment of the frame being blasted. Can't stay there for too long because there'll just be too much dust and it'll look like a snowstorm. But this is quite exciting. I didn't think this would happen today. So wow, whoa, what a noise that was, but very impressive to watch. It's going to look cool. Well, I've had the nod and the frame and the tank is ready to be collected, so let's go get it. Here we are again at the soda blasting. Let's go and have a look at them, put them in the car. There they are. There, that rubber didn't come off. Never mind. Perfect. Right, let's get them loaded up. Right, that's them loaded. Let's take these home, have a quick look, and then got one extra special place to go to. And here we have the sandblasted tank and sandblasted frame. I'm now going to take the tank to the special place. I've been there once already today when I left earlier, but I had to come back because they were very busy. But now we're going to take it. I need to write some more things on the board so I can tick them off. Torrential rain. We've arrived. And it's really amazing, this place. I have driven past this place, I think, about 12 bazillion times. And it's less than 2 miles from my house. And I've never stopped here until yesterday, when Fred recommended me this place as a guy that could do some work. Let's go and show you what he can do and what he's going to do for me. Oh, right. Let's get him in the shop. Ugh. Well, thank you, Tom, for letting me into your workshop, and I'm looking forward to seeing what your thoughts are about what can do with this tank, having just got it back from Sunblast. So what's your first impressions?
Yeah, it's good. It makes life much easier, not having to deal with old paint and layers upon layers quite often of paint, where people have colour changed for years. And also we can see all the damage, the rust in the bottom. That,
yeah, I think you just spotted a bit. I'll see if I can show it to the camera. There is a spot of rust. Where is he? Just on that seam there, which I hadn't spotted, but anyway.
Yeah, which we're taking out anyway, so it's not going to be too much of it.
And that's a good point. So I'll hold it up to the camera again. So I hold it to this camera. So the plan is then, if you want to indicate with your finger, we are going to remove this seam and these mounting bolts.
Right where the rust is. So.
Yeah, and we're going to take all of these seams out and all the way. Where are we? Up here, where we don't need that anymore because
you don't need that. Oh,
no,
okay.
that was for panels to be mounting.
Oh right, they're not going to be on.
And even sand everywhere. This point here, we don't. They are a mounting point.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to treat it like an old Harley tank where it's just slipped in and a bolt here.
Yeah. That's more than enough.
So clean them off and. So one question I did say to you on the camera, that I was wondering if it's possible to sharpen up these creases at all.
Possibly. We'd have to cut the bottom of the tank out. We'd have to, we would have to just take the bottom section of the tank out, and then hopefully we can then wheel this in a bit tighter.
Is that worth the ag or the time?
I don't know whether we will actually. We might be able to get the air planisher in. Possibly. It depends how far you want to go with things, doesn't it? It's all doable.
I think that's a good point, actually. I think we had mentioned, or you had mentioned, to remove the seams, we're looking at about a 200 quid job.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
And if we started to then dick about with these bits, what are we talking in terms of time and money?
I don't know, possibly another 4 hours on top. It's hard to say, really.
So another 15 quid then?
Another 15 quid should do it, mate, yeah.
I was at Fred's workshop earlier today, and he did suggest potentially, I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, welding that up, moving him, changing him to a small one.
Could do a flush cap or something similar, couldn't you?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'd have to get the flush cap to start with, so we knew what we were working to.
Yeah, and the steel flush cap. I think a lot of the flush caps you see are aluminium.
Yeah.
But yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, moving that, to be honest. And then when we've got the bottom section of the tank cut out, we can then get in here with a hammer and dolly and planish that back smooth, so you have very minimal filler in there, probably a high low primer, and it'd be good to go.
So what if we moved that, but we moved the original place to there? Do you think that would make any difference?
No, it's just as easy, as long as like your fuel's going to go in and not cause any issues. Doesn't look like it would because it's deep enough on the front there.
And the other thing I was wondering is here on this crease, can we soften that out?
When you say soften it, what? Bring this out a bit? Do you want it?
Yeah, because that comes in at the minute, and I don't know if there's a way of we can. I don't know.
But I'd probably be better off on the English wheel wheeling up a panel here with the right sort of radius that we want, and then TIG welding it back in. And like I say, when we've got the bottom of the tank out, we can then planish that area and planish that area, so it all looks seamless. Yeah, it's doable.
No, I think, as we've seen from having a look at some of your work pieces, you've definitely got the tools and the experience and ability to do it.
Yeah.
I think the difficulty is, from your perspective, is how far we go on the spend versus buying a new tank.
Yeah.
Where we don't have to do this much dicking about.
Yeah. I don't know. We could spend quite a bit on the tank really.
What we don't want is a £1,000 £200 tank.
Yeah, it's whatever's available, isn't it? If there's nothing available that is what you.
So if it was your tank and it was your bike and you had a blank piece of paper, what are you doing?
I don't know. I just spent stupid money on stuff, so so I'm not a good example really. I would just go for it. If it's something that you want, then yeah, just do it.
So I think for me, we'd definitely get rid of the seams.
Yeah.
I would be really interested to change the shape of that.
Yeah.
If this isn't too much ag,
Yeah.
do that last just in case I change my mind.
Yeah.
I think I would leave that there for now and just put a stock in because I want it to remain not stock but factory.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be all right.
and we've done enough with this sort of stuff to
Yeah.
tip our cap.
Yeah, 'cause taking the seams off really, you're probably going to want to cut this bottom out anyway.
Okay.
You're going to be cutting around here. You can drop the bottom out. So then when we change the radius of here, we can get in there to finish it, metal finish it properly. So it's not too.
And on this
it won't be
sort
too much drama to move that if you did decide you wanted to move that. And then we can same again and blank that one there.
I guess the problem is the pipe work in here.
How deep's the cap as well? Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. You could miss it there, but it depends how deep this cap is. Okay. Put it in and hit the bottom of the tank instead.
Yeah. I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Is it worth maybe on this section here
Yeah.
making that a prettier lug?
Yeah, we could do. We could sort of just radius the corners, really, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Just bring it round the same.
And there's a weld in there.
Yeah, well, if we're taking this out, we will get rid of all of that anyway. Not a problem. But yeah, otherwise, if we leave this in, I can get rid of that weld, no issue either. Sometimes, well, with this, it's quite nice. Such a big filler that you can get your hand down in with a dolly, probably anyway. Well, I can anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's possible. What about these? Are you going to leave the indents in? For
I
the
was thinking
badge?
about leaving the indents in and putting a new badge in. What do you think? Again, what would you
I
do?
don't know whether I would run no badges myself. I quite like no badges on things and just a clean look. But you could sort of cut that out, put a piece in, and blend it in, so it all looks smooth. But yeah, I don't know.
Because I had an idea where I was going to get a like a matte badge,
Yeah.
and on the BMW opposites pick up a colour from the rest of the bike,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
and then
Yeah, you
have,
could do that.
have that. But
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
just, I didn't think of that idea.
Yeah, you could have it smooth, but it's all these things I'm thinking of when we've got the bottom of the tank cut out. It's all easy to do once
it.
that's out.
You've convinced me
Yeah.
that I think because it'll say
Yeah.
BMW on the engine, so it'll be very clear what the bike is.
Oh yeah.
That's clearly a BMW tank.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of them.
Something that's custom, and also a lot of other places will just skim that with filler, and you've got that depth of filler, so we won't have that. So it'll be much better.
So the big question is, how long?
how long to do it.
Yeah.
Uh,
How long for this 4-hour job?
yeah, probably get most in a day. I'd get most of it done,
Really?
if not all of it done.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. I would think. Like I say, we've got to cut the bottom out anyway to de-seam it, or you're pretty much cutting the bottom out anyway to de-seam it. So then that gives us access to do all these areas, so it makes things much easier.
And once we cut the bottom off, is it worth sealing the inside while we've got access to it?
No, because we'd do everything, and then we'd TIG weld all the seams, so they will be bang on. But then it's good to get like a tank. I think it's like a tank wash, something like that.
Yeah.
They call it, and you just slosh it around in there. And it's any little imperfections, because I've had it before. Like you look at this and you think, oh, that's bang on, and then all of a sudden you fill it with water, and there's like a tiniest little pinprick in it, just from corrosion. And you don't really want to be painting it and doing all that, and then discover you've got a tiny little pinprick in it. The petrol comes out. I've had it before, and it knackers the paint.
Yeah.
And then like you've spent all that money out on paint and messing around to ruin it with a tiny little pinprick. So yeah, it's worth doing that. Also, I don't know, with all this grit in there, we'll clean it right the way out, but also that will just help it bind to the tank a little bit. If there is a tiniest little bit in a seam that you miss, then at least that will just sort of bind it into it, so it won't be so bad. Yeah, that's alright.
Right, perfect.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, I think Fred was definitely right in recommending you, so thank you very much for willing to take the job on.
That's all right.
Thank you for taking the time to let me have a chat to you today. And I'll see you in a day when it's finished.
Yeah, no worries. All right.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you. So I've just got back from Tom's. Tank's there. The frame's here. And it seems that as you dig into it, as you'd expect, the jobs get bigger and bigger. So hopefully get that tank back in the next week or so. I'm going to ACF 50 this frame with a rag just to protect it from any humidity and rust. And then, sorry, I'm turning behind at the engine. And then we have the engine to solve. I'm going to take the throttle bodies off myself. Fred's going to come and have a look at the engine tomorrow and get a plan of attack. I'll get the throttle bodies off. He'll take the engine away probably next week now. And then that money pit begins. Cheers.